love that? Yes, okay. Good morning and welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. My name is Betty Lou Cummins, and I am serving as your worship associate today. For those of you who might not be seeing me too clearly, I'm a senior citizen lady of Northern European heritage, and I have black slacks on and a blue hat and colors in between. Okay. December means moving from autumn's brightness to winter's longer, colder nights. As we gather for seasonal events, it's a good time to consider what home represents: shelter, comfort, and belonging. December 21st, today, is both the winter solstice and National Homeless Persons Memorial Day, reminding us of the ongoing issue of homelessness affecting over 1 million Americans each year. Jean mentioned that a few minutes ago. As the year ends, let's remember those without homes and commit to helping address this urgent problem. We offer a warm welcome to the guests who are with us today. We would like to get to know you better and hope that you will join us for coffee hour following the service. Our mission states, we are a liberal faith community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. Today, we're going to experience a special service entitled Mysteries Meeting Place. Unitarian Universalists often name the experience of transcending mystery and wonder as a foundational element of a spiritual life. This service will reflect on two contemporary stories about the intermingling of the sacred and the secular, inviting us to consider how we welcome mystery and wonder within and beyond sanctuaries on Sunday morning. The sermon today is presented on demand, so we'll see it on the screen, by Reverend Heather Janules, UUA Congregational Life Staff in the New England region. Okay. Our music today is provided by our wonderful music director, Bonnie Whitehurst, and our choir. Okay. We are pleased to announce that the distinguished pianist, as Kathy mentioned a moment ago, Kulun Lee, will perform a special concert, Voices of Freedom, by women composers today at 1 p.m. in our sanctuary. To allow time for setup and sound check, today's service will conclude promptly at 11:30. Accordingly, the sharing of joys and sorrows will be omitted from the order of service today. However, members are still welcome to connect and share with friends during the coffee hour. We look forward to resume our tradition of sharing next week. And now I checked this, it works. I checked it, I had witnesses. Seems like... What is going on?
There's a whole bunch of wooden matches there.
Help?
It seems like we should have done the hymn before the...
Oh, well, that works. That way I can figure out this out.
So you can just keep on...
Yes, thank you, your love. Thank you.
Our hymn is number 12 in the gray book. 12. O life that maketh all things new.
Pilgrim feet, where will I do?
think I have it. Let's see. The wick got buried down in the wax, you know? Now that happens? Yes. Okay. We gather in this sacred space, made more sacred in this moment by the presence and attention of each and every one of us. We gather with hearts broken, hearts open, seeking a greater, larger love. We gather, held in the embrace of both memory and hope. May our gathering be for gladness. Come, let us worship together. Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal faith. Will you join me in reading together our congregation's covenant as shown on the monitor? We strive to look for and encourage the best in each other as we move toward justice, peace, and love for both ourselves and the world. And when we fall short, we will seek understanding, reconciliation, and a return to covenant. Let's sing together. Please sit or stand as you feel comfortable, and Diana Ripe is going to lead us in signing. If you can join us if you like. Jamie with our story of all the ages.
Good morning, everyone. And Merry Christmas. It is that season, and we're finally here this week. I'm excited for my kids to open their stuff. Dad doesn't know what they have because I did all the work. So today's book is called You Are Part of the Wonder, written by Ruth Doyle and illustrated by Britta Tenkentrup. Before we start the story, I want you guys to listen to these next couple of words and remember them. Of all the wonders of nature, the long grasses, the button-bright beetles, the sunshine, and the starlight, the most wondrous thing of all is you. There's a bird outside your window with a song that's full of sky, and it wonders why you stay inside when you are free to fly. A playground of puzzles is waiting for you, each feather and footprint a half-hidden clue. There are secrets to find, be still and peer closely, spy curious chrysalis, tight-wrapped and ghostly. In the long jungle grasses, watch ants work and play, count button-bright beetles as they scuttle away. Smell the sun on soft petals, taste berries warm and sweet, Feel the tickles of tadpoles as the stream cools your feet. Glimpse glittering cobwebs, build a stick den, play free, as the warm breeze, the light leaves, the soft floating bee. Look up high, watch the moving theater of the sky, kaleidoscope pictures are galloping by. See the owl surfing sky like a moon-dappled kite, horses racing the clouds with their manes catching light. And if you're frazzled with worry and doubt, don't hold on to your troubles, turn fears inside out. Throw your cares to the wind and whisper a wish. Tell crickets your secrets, swap stories with fish. The sky doesn't care how you look, what you wear. The wind whispers you're perfect and ruffles your hair. So be a friend of the earth, show others the way, share sunshine and starlight each night and new day. You are part of the wonder and joy nature brings, of the beauty and magic in all living things. So join the bird outside your window, sing your own full song of sky, then open the door, run free and explore, go, stretch out your wild wings and fly. The end. I have the candle.
Now is the time in our service where we take our offering for the work and welfare of this church. The December special collection will support the MLK Junior Scholarship Foundation. This foundation is dedicated to respecting MLK's vision of liberty, fairness, and equality for everyone. Both high school and college students apply for the scholarship based on Dr. King's quotes and vision combined with their personal and community experiences. You can make checks out to UUCTS with the memo MLK. You may put the checks in today's collection plate or mail them to 57 Reed Street. You can also donate online by going to uutarpon.org, and the special purpose collection envelopes are in the pews. I had an envelope somewhere. I think I dropped it. Nope, there it is. Right there. Okay. Collection envelopes are in the pews for those who want to donate cash during December's Sunday offertories. Check social justice and write MLK in the memo. You may write your name on the envelope if you wish. The offering will now be given and received.
And if you would like to join us in singing our offertory song, you'll find it in the Gray Book, number 208, Every Time I Feel the Spirit, 208.
Moving in my
We come now to a time for reflection or meditation in silence with these words by Barbara Stevens. Let this be a place of silence. For a few moments, let this be a place of warm and gentle silence. The silence that soothes and comforts the wounded. The silence that yields insight into heart and soul. The silence that calms, the silence that listens, the silence that speaks, the silence that renews. Let this be a place of warm and gentle silence. We'll now, in a moment, start the video by Reverend Heather Janules. If you'll direct your attention to the monitor.
Me into your time of worship. I'm the Reverend Heather Janules, a middle-aged white woman with short, chemically assisted reddish hair and Eastern European features. I'm wearing a green blouse with a gray shawl decorated with flowers and butterflies. I'm greeting you from my living room. A white mantle is behind me, as are a number of houseplants. It is amazing we can worship together in this way. Technology offers us so many different ways to connect across time and space. My only regret, though, is that while you're able to experience me and my ministry, I'm unable to experience your community gathering in this moment. Worship is a community endeavor. The word liturgy derives from the Greek phrase meaning the work of the people, and this engagement, this work, renders a place of worship rich with meaning. Considering the poignant human moments that take place in a sanctuary, the rituals, the memorials, the lighting of candles, the gathering in times of fear, of joy and sorrow, how can we not understand a place like this as sacred? How can we not experience a place like this as something more than the collection of wood and stone, glass and metal, carpet and furniture that it is? While I've come to appreciate all that takes place in a house of worship, I have been drawn to spaces set aside as sacred long before I became a minister. This fascination with sacred spaces has its origin in childhood memories. For about 2 years, my parents and I lived with my grandparents. I often companioned my grandmother to Mass at her Roman Catholic church, St. Casimir's, the Lithuanian parish in town. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy or understand the service. How can a 7-year-old make sense of a metaphor like Lamb of God? But I loved the space. The statues of saints brought over from Lithuania, the stained glass, the carvings depicting Stations of the Cross with captions in Lithuanian. For some reason, while the small bowl of holy water at the entryway froze in winter, when this happened, this consecrated water seemed all the more magical to me. And I had all these sensory experiences in the company of someone I loved, my grandmother. Much later, when I served a congregation in the Washington, D.C. suburbs, even though the modern and versatile design of that sanctuary was beautiful in its own way, worshiping in that space didn't quite feel right, as it looked so different from what I remembered from St. Casimir's. My reverence for sacred space, what we might call mystery's meeting place, is that ingrained and that strong. But I recently heard 2 stories about what we name as sacred, and the spaces it inhabits, that have inspired a number of questions for me. They affirm what I've come to know about sacred spaces, revered as they are for important moments in life, and at the same time, not necessarily confined to the walls of the sanctuary, the temple, the mosque, the gates of the shrine. I will now share these stories with you as an invitation to explore these questions in your own minds and hearts with one another. But before we explore these stories, though, I acknowledge the complexity of reflecting on sacred space within a Unitarian Universalist community. Defined by our theological diversity, I know that together we represent views from ardent atheism and evangelical rationalism to theism and mysticism and everything in between. This makes definition of sacred or mystery subjective, and for some, the use of the words problematic. I hope we can find common ground through the perspective of writer, poet, and ecologist Wendell Berry. He affirms that there are no unsacred places, there are only sacred places and desecrated places. I hear in his words an understanding often affirmed by various indigenous peoples that all places, every place, is imbued with life and is therefore worthy of our attention, gratitude, and care, lest the source of this life be diminished, eroded, or blocked. How we understand this source varies, but I assume that we can agree that the spirit of life we sing about with great heart is something worthy of reverence. When Barry attests that there are no unsacred places, Victoria Safford's meditation, Subversive Suburban Soul, comes to mind. While reflecting on the very desecrated place of her local strip of retail stores, which is paradoxically also a place with breathtaking sunsets and moonrises, Safford affirms that beneath the pavement, earth remembers. Everything is gathered in, where it is known, it is remembered that the holy holds all weeping as well as all celebration, all desecration as well as all tenderness. Everything is gathered in. The first story to help us explore the meaning of sacred space is a story of reclamation, of transforming a place of desecration to a place of dignity, shaping not only the physical environment, but how the people of this place function within it. It comes to us from an episode of the podcast Criminal titled, He's Neutral. I summarize the story this way. A man named Dan Stevenson and his wife have lived in the same house in Oakland for many years. While they love their neighborhood, urban life sometimes comes with challenges. For a long time, they've had to deal with petty crimes like drug use and theft. Dan says that calling the police often makes things worse, inspiring him, where possible, to adopt a live and let live approach with his neighbors. But there was one thing he could no longer tolerate. The city installed a road divider in front of his house. This small plot of land became a place where people dumped their trash. And with every dumping, it became a trash magnet, inspiring others to dump even more trash. Signs prohibiting dumping went ignored. Calls to the city went unanswered. Finally, Dan made a decision about what he wanted to do about the trash heap in front of his house. It took some time, but Dan took action, and what he did inspired others to act, and this changed everything. Dan bought a statue of Buddha to install in the lot that gathered so much trash. This was somewhat of an odd decision considering Dan is not Buddhist and has no connection to Buddhism. Why Buddha? Unlike a statue of Jesus, Dan says. He's neutral. After reinforcing the statue with rebar so no one could steal it, Dan installed the Buddha. Now, in lieu of staring at a pile of garbage, he could look out his window each morning, coffee in hand, and look at Buddha instead. But then, sometimes, when he would begin his day with the Buddha statue, Dan noticed some mysterious appearances. No one had brought trash to the site, but there were other offerings, pears and oranges. One morning, Dan was surprised to see that someone had painted Buddha white. Later, Buddha was painted again, gold this time. Eventually, a small shelter appeared, protecting Buddha and giving local Buddhist pilgrims a way to comfortably pray in the rain. As time went on, the number of Buddhist devotees grew, coming every day to this former road divider turned trash heap, rendering the space across from Dan's house a sacred site. Feast days attract even bigger crowds. The community often brings Dan and his wife gifts of food in gratitude to him installing the Buddha. Despite the language barrier, the devotees speak little English and he speaks no Vietnamese. He tries to communicate that the Buddha is now theirs. In the end, while the correlation is unclear, since the trash dump has become a Buddhist shrine, crime in Dan's neighborhood has decreased by over 70%.
He's got a Facebook page, he's got a Twitter account. He's more connected socially than I am, you know. He's a great little guy, I guess. It has a security camera now, it has sound, he's got chants all the time, you know. It just kind of turned the whole thing around to zero. No more mattresses, and no more garbage, and no more graffiti, and no more hanging out. It's an amazing thing. It's like tossing the stone in the pond, you know, it just ripples out.
Each time I hear this story, these questions come to mind. What inspired Dan, someone who has no ties to Buddhism, to address neighborhood blight by planting a Buddha statue? What did the local Buddhist neighbors make of the statue's mysterious appearance? How did their presence and their prayers and devotion influence the behavior of others in the neighborhood? And what was the unconscious inspiration that brought all of this into being? I first learned of our second story through the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, an exploration of creativity and spirituality and the bond between the two. She first heard the story from Ketut Lyer, a Balinese healer and one of Gilbert's mentors. Here is a summary of this other modern parable. The Balinese are known for the beauty of their sacred dances, an art form carefully passed down through the generations with profound dedication to tradition. When Western tourists began visiting Bali in the 1960s, they were fascinated by these traditional dances. The temples welcomed visitors, and the guests were happy to make a contribution to the temple in exchange. But while this arrangement worked for a while, in time, the regular presence of outsiders changed the experience of the temple, and some of the temples were remote and rustic, not necessarily the most hospitable spaces. The priests decided it would be better if the dancers visited the local resorts and performed there. This way, the visitors could experience the dance, and the temples could continue to receive the income from the grateful tourists. This also worked for a time. But then a number of what Gilbert calls high-minded Westerners became concerned that these sacred dances were happening outside the temple. The tourists feared that this whole arrangement was desecration of the sacred tradition from whence these dances came. So the priests came up with another solution. The dancers would continue to dance, but not the sacred dances. They would draw from their training to develop new dances, just for the tourist audiences. The visitors could then experience the dance, and the temples could continue to receive the income from the grateful tourists, and all could rest assured that no harm was being done to the holy tradition of Balinese sacred dance. Gilbert explains the conclusion of the story this way. Over the next few years, those silly, new, meaningless dances became increasingly refined. The young boys and girls grew into them, and working with a new sense of freedom and innovation, they gradually transformed the performances into something transcendent. It appeared that those Balinese dancers, despite all their best efforts to be completely unspiritual, were unwittingly calling down big magic from the heavens anyhow, right there by the swimming pool. All they'd originally intended was to entertain tourists and themselves, but now they were tripping over God every single night, and everyone could see it. The Balinese priests, noticing this phenomenon, had a wonderful idea. Why not borrow these new fake dances, bring them into the temples, incorporate them into the ancient religious ceremonies, and use them as a form of prayer? In fact, why not replace some of those stale old sacred dances with these new fake dances? So they did. At which point the meaningless dances became holy dances, because the holy dances had become meaningless. And everyone was happy, except for those high-minded Westerners who were now thoroughly confused, because they couldn't tell anymore what was holy and what was profane. It had all bled together. The lines had blurred between high and low, between light and heavy, between right and wrong, between us and them, between God and earth. And the whole paradox was totally freaking them out. Which I cannot help imagine, is what the trickster priests had in mind the entire time. Our first story was a story of bringing the sacred into the profane. This story is a story of the sacred communing with the profane, transforming into something even more profound. Indeed, as Gilbert puts it, it all bled together. Where are you seeing this transformation in the world, the sacred emerging from the sanctuary to only make the whole world a temple? How do you hold your traditions lightly enough so the power of the past and the inspiration of this moment are present in equal measure? What sacred practice are you willing to destroy to allow a new transcendence to emerge? It is perhaps fitting that I am preaching this sermon in my home. My love of sacred spaces has inspired me to decorate my house with an eclectic array of religious art, including a Victoria-era wooden pulpit turned ornate plant table I received through an online everything is free list. Over the pulpit plant table hangs a large framed stained glass piece, making my office like a small chapel. And in my dining room, a small Buddha sits beneath a photograph I took of that modern sanctuary, the sun shining through the glass walls. While I have learned much from the Buddhist tradition, like Dan Stevenson, I do not consider myself Buddhist, but I cherish this Buddha as it was a gift from a member of a congregation I served, recalling her kind generosity and the many wonderful things about that community. Now that I have heard the tale of the Buddha of Oakland, the small statue reminds me of what it means to engage in spiritual leadership. We are all called, each in our own way, to claim real estate for the sacred amid the great garbage of the world. This little statue reminds me that we are forever partners in reclamation. St. Casimir's, my grandmother's Catholic parish, offers another lesson about the dance between sacred and desecrated space. After my parents and I stopped living with my grandparents, I stopped going to church. But I heard about life at St. Casimir's at family gatherings. As the migration of Lithuanian immigrants to the area ebbed, and the children of earlier immigrants either left the area or left the faith, the congregation became older and smaller, with more memorial masses than weddings. Amid its slow decline, a local man with mental health challenges responded to demands of the voices only he could hear. He broke into the sanctuary and smashed most of the statues. Even though I was not a member of that parish, my fascination with those statues as a child inspired me to grieve this great loss and the reality that we live in a world where sacred space can be violated. In time, the diocese merged St. Casimir's with St. Patrick's, the Irish Roman Catholic parish. By then, my grandfather had died, as did many of my grandparents' friends. So my grandmother, who never learned to drive and was likely too infirm to go behind the wheel anyway, was content to worship by viewing Mass on cable television. I guess this way of worshiping isn't so new, after all. But while the sanctuary of St. Casimir's, inspiring my love of consecrated space so long ago, is closed and empty, the parish converted the rest of its campus to affordable housing, transforming their spiritual home into homes for those who need them. The leaders of St. Casimir's remind me of those Balinese dancers, blurring the line between God and earth, as Elizabeth Gilbert might say. Part of spirituality is cultivating awareness that besides the literal walls that surround consecrated space, the lines between holy and ordinary are dynamic. The path between desecrated and sacred is often shorter than we think. We know that leading a faith community has always been a demanding spiritual practice, one that has become significantly more difficult in recent years. For large and small communities alike, new energy and inspiration seems to be coming when the people do their work in different ways, in ways that allow freer communion between what is within and what is beyond the sanctuary. Like Dan Stevenson, this means bringing the ministry to secular places. Like the Balinese dancers, this means welcoming strangers into the temple and allowing that relationship to shape the nature of temple life. What might this look like for you and your people? May we have the wisdom and awareness to recognize this world we live in, this life we have and share, as an ongoing invitation to transformation, where everything is gathered in, where it is known, it is remembered, that the holy holds all weeping as well as all celebration, all desecration as well as all tenderness. Everything is gathered in.
Our final hymn is number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, in the Teal Book, 1008.
As we close, let me offer the words of Pamela Ayo-Yatendu. Whether you believe in other worlds, you would probably do well and experience some peace of mind to admit that you don't know and understand everything. All you have to do on occasion is remind yourself of this fact. When you remind yourself that you don't know everything, pause and bring your attention to your thoughts and bodily sensations. If you can accept with ease that you don't know everything, take humility to another level. Remind yourself that you don't know most things. Pause, reflect, and settle. Once settled, remind yourself that you cannot know most things, and see if you can feel the release from the delusion that you may have been carrying. Try to take a deep breath and bring a slight smile to your face. See if you can go about your day appreciating mystery. Last, ask yourself if you would be willing to contribute some goodness to the plane of existence you know you are a part of. Then, go forth and do it. We extinguish our chalice with these words by Sarah York. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are, and renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown. Again, as a reminder, due to the piano concert today, we will not be sharing joys and sorrows. We'll start again next week. But do come back in